This just goes away right here. And all I have to do is divide both sides by 3. And what is x? 4. Then I go back to my table and stick that right there. Oh, look, I have my x-intercept. It's 4, 0. Sweet, huh? Then it tells me to plug in 0 for x. So I do that. 3 times 0 minus 4y equals 12. This goes away. Divide both sides by negative 4. And y is equal to negative 3. Which one's the x-intercept there? Yeah, whatever number has x. I mean, x has the number here. So this is the x-intercept, this is the y-intercept, right? Yeah. Okay, let's do another one with a little bit less writing because we can. So the first thing I'm going to do is make a baby table. 0 for y, 0 for x. That tells me what I have to do. It tells me I got to plug in 0 for y. That goes away. Divide by 4. I'm going to get a fraction, and do not make it a mixed number. That's annoying too. We're going to leave it a fraction. I would prefer a reduced fraction. So what would that be if I reduced it? 5 over 2. So my x is 5 over 2. Okay, now let me show you something. I don't ever write this all out. I use my finger. I'll show you why. You ready? It's so easy. If x is 0, isn't that just going to make that term go away? Yeah. So I just cover it up. And then what do I have to do to get y? Divide by negative 2. So what's my y? And you're done. You don't even have to write it all out if you get that. Okay? All right, so we got our intercepts. All right, graph the equation by using the intercepts and label. Using the intercepts. Oh, baby table. 0, 0. This is telling me to plug in 0 for y, so I'm going to use my finger. 8 times 0 is going to make that go away, isn't it? So what's my x? Divide both sides by 4, and I get 6 for my x. Fill that in your table. Here says plug in 0 for x, which is going to make that go away. And what's my y? 3. Divide both sides by 8, and I get 3. I got my 2 points. How easy is that? Over 6, it says to label, so I'm going to label. This is my x-intercept. And then here's my y-intercept, 0, 3. And then connect the line. There's no restrictions, so I'm just going to draw a line with arrows, and I'm done. Okay, you do this one. Make your baby table and do it yourself. Label it. Cool? Oh, you're still working. All right. Let's talk about this bottom one here. Identify the x and y intercepts of the graph. All right, x-intercept is on the x-axis, correct? Yes. So I just need to name that point by its ordered pair. The x-intercept is what?
Negative 2, 0.
Negative 2, 0. You could just write negative 2, that's fine. The y-intercept is on the y-axis. What is the coordinates of that point there?
0, 1.
Yeah, I'm going to write y-intercept, y-axis here. It's 0, 1. You can just write 1 also. I don't care. That's all for that. Now understand, before I turn it over and we get a lot more in depth, understand the important thing is knowing how to graph with intercepts here. You do have to try the story problems. Chris, I wish you would put that away. You do have to try story problems and you have to think about domain and range, but the main concept is this, okay? So here we go. And you can do this. Make and sell keychains. You sell small keychains for $3 and large keychains for $5. You want to earn $60 a week. This situation is modeled by this equation. Oh, they give us the equation. That's nice. Where X is the number of small keychains and Y is the large. Okay, hey, I'm going to go right to my graph here. X is the small keychains and Y are the large. So I'm going to label that right on my graph. Now I got to get the X and Y intercepts. So I'm just going to write the equation over here. And I'm going to make my baby table. If Y is 0, this goes away, doesn't it? If Y is 0, that goes away. And divide both sides by 3, what is X? 20. Maybe you don't know, just do it on your calculator. 60 divided by 3 is 20. Same thing here. Does anybody know what 60 divided by 5 is?
12.
12. Okay. Now I can fill in these blanks.
Brian.
Did you say tricky?
Yeah, it
No,
comes
I
up like
said
the
Cheeky.
Like the best like, where it's like at the random moment, like, ooh.
Okay, X is 20. That's my X-intercept. Y is 12. That's my Y-intercept. Now I got to graph those. X-intercept is 20. I'm going to put a dot right there. Y-intercept is 12. I'm going to put a dot right there. And connect them with the straightest line possible. Straightest line possible. Do not go over the edges either, because we can't deal with negatives here. We can't have negative keychains. No negative keychains. Straight line. And no arrows, because you can't have negative keychains. Okay? No arrows. Can't have negative keychains here. Okay. Next thing says, give 3 possibilities for the number of each type of keychain you can sell to earn $60. That means I need 3 points on this line. So this point right here is 20, 0, isn't it? What does X represent? What does X represent in this situation?
Small amount.
The small keychains. So this is saying if I sell 20 small keychains and 0 large, I'll have my $60. That's what that point says. So I'm going to write that here. If I sell 20 small and 0 large, that equals my $60. And that point was 20, 0. This point is 0, 12. How does this relate to my situation?
If you sell 0.
If I sell 0 small and how many large?
12.
12 large, I'm going to make what? $60. Okay? If I sell 0 small and 12 large, I will have $60. And that's 0, 12. Now I got to get one more point. I got to find a point on my line that will give me $60. Let's try one. What do you got?
16.
Or let's try 18 too. I'm just gonna, I know, 18 times 3, does anybody know what that is? It's not really on the line. What's
54.
54 plus 10, does that give me 60?
No.
No. What's another one, Mackenzie?
16.
McKenna. Sorry, as soon as I said it, I'm like, it's not right.
10, 6.
Oh, he says 10, 6. Let's try it. 10, 6. Oh, not 66. If I do 3 times 10, I get what? 30 plus 5 times 6? 30. Oh, 30 plus 30 is 60. So this one works. Okay, so 10, is that small or large?
Small.
10 is small. X is small. Remember, X is small. 10 small and 6 large equals $60. That point was 10, 6. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Let's have some enthusiasm.
Brian's gonna make it interesting out.
All right, let's finish this. I want you to keep your mind open here. You can do this. The most important thing is using intercepts and all this kind of stuff. But here we go. You borrow $1,800 from your parents. Oh my, that's a lot of money. To repay your debt, you give them $150 per month. So you're paying them paying it down, $150 per month. Your debt D in dollars is given by this function. Debt equals 150T minus 1,800, where T represents your time in months. That's my debt, that's my months. Find the intercepts. So I want you to make kind of a big baby table here.
A big baby table?
This is T, which is time in months. That's T. And this is D, which is your debt. I don't know how you want to write that, however you want to write it. T and D. I want to know when D is 0 and when T is 0. Same thing. Find the intercepts. So, I'm going to write my equation down here. It just looks a little bit different than what we were doing. We can't really use our cover-up method on this. We have to actually do the math. So D is 0. This is telling me D is 0. Find out what T is. So I'm going to replace 0 with D. And solve for T. Add 1,800. 1,800 equals 150T. Now what?
Divide the 150.
Divide by 150, and you're going to get T equals 12. So you're going to put that right up here. Now, it is pretty easy to plug 0 in for T here. What happens if I plug 0 for T here? That goes away, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And what does D equal?
1, 8.
Negative 1,800, right? Negative 1,800. If you can't see that, we'll just write it out real quick. This goes away, and D equals negative 1,800. So write that here. I'm going to plot those points. Here's my x-axis.
Which one?
This is kind of a funky graph. This is why I think it's sort of a hard problem here. With this graph, this is 1,800. This is 0 up here for the y, and this is 12 for the x. So that point goes here. It's over 12 to 0. Over 12 to 0. It's kind of weird. And then 0, negative 1,800. So every time you pay a month, your debt decreases. Every time you pay, okay?
Oh, because it's starting off because it only goes down.
All right, at 0 months, you owe 1,800. After another month, you're going to owe less. After another month, you're going to owe less. Okay? So did you have a question? Okay, let's talk about what this means. Hey, what does this intercept mean? After 12 months, what?
You have no debt.
I owe nothing. At 12 months, I will have 0 debt. At 12 months, I will have 0 debt. What does this point mean?
At 0 months, I have 18.
At 0 months, I owe $1,800, or however you want to say that. I owe $1,800 still. Or negative $1,800 in debt, however you want to say it. Let's talk about domain and range. Remember, domain is my T. It's between here and here, right?
Yeah.
What two numbers are those? 0 and
12.
So my domain is going to be only between 0 and 12. So my domain was the letter T, and it's going to be greater than or equal to 0,
But less than 12.
but less than or equal to 12.
So do you always put the greater than 0 part?
It depends on the situation, but yeah, for this one, yeah. Now my debt, my range is here. It's between what? 0 and what? Negative 1,800. So my D is going to be greater than or equal to 1,800. Actually put negative 1,800. But less than or equal to 0. So it's just what your graph is here, between 0 and negative 1,800. That's your debt. That's your range. That's your output. Again, domain and range, keep trying with it. The other stuff is what's important for this section. Okay?
So why did you put the 0 again?